Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm gonna talk about the RAM issues I've been having and how I fixed it, and I'm gonna assemble also the computer for the part 2 video that I said I'm gonna do 2 months ago, I suppose. So let's get started. Okay, so on my last video I had issues with the PC not starting with these two RAM modules. These are Corsair Vengeance LPX DDR4 3000 MHz with an Asus Strix iGaming X470, and I did the BIOS update, and after the BIOS update on the last one from December, the RAM didn't want to boot, or if it booted, it booted only on the first slot. The second slot, if it was populated, it just didn't boot at all or get power. So how I did it, it was necessary to remove the CPU, so you will get a prompt that you inserted a new CPU, and after that it will let you go into BIOS, and this I did with only one RAM stick because it still didn't work with two. And when I did remove the CPU, I also did a clear CMOS on the motherboard, and then I went on the Linus Tech Tips forum, checked a little bit there, checked on Google, and then I realized that Asus did like a cap on the motherboard. So the Ryzen 5 2600, maybe it's just these Corsair Vengeance LPX, maybe the G-Skill, because I think they have a Samsung die, they work much better. But these ones, they needed to be I needed to put the XMP mode on and then manually downclock it to 2933 megahertz, and then I needed to go to DRAM voltages and set the voltage to the specified voltage on the RAM. So this RAM goes for 1 volt 0.35, so I set it to a fixed voltage of 135 to don't fluctuate under or above that. Did a reboot, turned off the PC, put on the second stick of RAM, turned on the PC, works fabulous. So, and then I tried to put the RAM back on the, because when you put the DOCP or XMP mode by default, it goes automatically to the speed of the RAM, so that's 3000 megahertz. But on my last update, the motherboard, if I go over 2933 what the CPU is recommending, it will just crash, or it will just use one RAM slot on above that megahertz frequency. So yeah, just have in mind. We're gonna put on the AIO from Deepcool. It's an L240. Let's see, I think I have different one. Maybe. Yeah, I do. Okay. Okay, that's enough, I think. Okay, so right now we're gonna put the AIO in, the AIO for the AM4 platform, you have to use the motherboard's backplate. This model, the L240, comes with a bracket for AM3 and under, and all the Intel, a different one. But for the AM4 they recommend to use the backplate that is on the motherboard. Just take the plastic standoffs out. We're gonna insert these standoffs like this. So yeah, 4 standoffs really quickly. This is actually quite easy. It's not so complicated. Because I have a low TDP Ryzen chip, I did a little modification on this one. So I have the big 240 radiator, but I used only one slim fan on it. As you can see, I have the backplate from Louqe, from the case that I connected to. I used custom screws, of course, because they don't give you screws for this. And I'm gonna use it in this configuration. It gives me best of both worlds, so it gives you almost none to silent configuration, but it's still gonna be cool. So you're not compromising cool for noise, or noise for cool, and different stuff. So it's not like an air cooler, because the pump recirculates the water. It will just keep it perfectly in check. I just need to remember how is this one going in. So I need to put it in. So it will be like this. So it goes on this side. Okay. And the motherboard goes this way, the RAM this way. So I need to put it like this. Okay, I was putting it correctly in. Yeah, always take the time to check how do you want to put all the parts inside, because you don't get so many chances in actually putting everything in. So I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna press it in. I'm gonna lift it after I pressed it to check if I'm doing okay. I'm doing very good actually. And now we're gonna screw it in. Do this slowly. Don't be in a hurry. Don't screw everything at in one place. Screw everything a little by little on each side, so you get an uniform press on the CPU. Press a little bit on it, and then go around and just tighten it slowly. I can just tighten it completely. Okay. Yes. Check. Okay. So check to see if you have thermal paste coming out. If it's a little bit of thermal paste coming out, that means you put a good quantity. If it's coming out too much, you put way too much. And if it's not coming at all, if you're looking from the side, you can unscrew it and try again. When you're doing this, some pumps have RGB and some pumps don't have. This pump has RGB, so I will connect it, I suppose, depending on what you want. So it's not that bad to have a little bit of light bleed from the computer sometimes. You see at least that it's on, especially because yeah, having different RAM issues or different stuff, it's always nice to know if it's running or not. And always take the time to do your cable management, because sometimes, like in like this mini ITX case, if you take the time and do the cable management correctly and neatly, then you won't have any issues when you're adding all the other stuff inside. So yeah. So let's see if we can do this nice and neatly. I don't think I can do this nice and neatly. Oh, this is gonna be a long video again with me doing something. But the purposes of my videos technically is to show you guys that this is actually real life, and it's not a 10-minute montage. And sometimes things take more time than you actually plan for. So if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, it takes 1 hour, just skip through it on the next step. But if you want to look at everything, this is how much time you will spend also doing this, because this is not going. I want to route the cables in a certain way so it's nice and neat, but it doesn't work. They don't go too many condensers and stuff. So always have cable ties on hand and a little cutter, so you're making everything nice and neat. So I'm gonna do a little loopy loop, and depends on your OCD level, or if you actually not planning to open this until next Christmas, then actually it would be nice to do it to route these in a very tidy manner, because at the end of the day, if you don't have so many cables in the way, airflow will also be good, so you get better temperatures and everything inside the PC. Because even if I have this big cooler, it's not gonna cool my VRMs and everything, and yeah, you get the idea. And the airflow that is coming from this one, it's not that big. I mean, I put only a slim fan. It is from Nitro truly, but it's not magical. So AIO pump here, bam. RGB here, but I think this is not correct what I'm doing actually. I'm stupid. Okay, so I need to use this one to connect the RGB, because I remember the specific header, so too many cables. So fuck you RGB. No RGB. Okay. We're gonna put this on the side. Yes, we're gonna put this on the side for now because we need to. Fucking okay. Okay, so what's going on? Okay, so this is my solution for my very not cool graphics card. This is a Sapphire Pulse. No? Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Is it a Pulse? I don't know. Okay, so I have the Sapphire 8 gig RX 580. And it had the classic cooler. It was way too noisy and it wasn't cutting it for a system where the motherboard, it's glued with all the components are technically glued together almost. It's 1.5 centimeter between them, so all the heat from the PSU and the power supply and the motherboard are technically coming through directly to the graphics card. So these two fans are the fans that are coming with the AIO. So I took those, I applied a little bit of double sticky tape on the surfaces that the fans will touch on this radiator, so it doesn't cause a vibration noise. And then I just use some zip ties to put it in place where I wanted it to be. Plus the double sticky tape also helps to keep them in check while you're doing this. So, and on the other side I made the 4 holes bigger for this one, and I used 2 standoffs on one side like these. I think they're like 2 millimeter high, because these ones have a little bit of a lip, so every time you're gonna plug it in, it will actually force the SSD to come out. And these plugs actually don't help either. They're really chunky. So if you have like this one, you're gonna have cables on this side and cables on this side. So it's actually quite. If you have just the first one here, then it's kind of okay because it doesn't have. But if you get the middle one, then you get cables on both sides. So you actually need a small spacer underneath the base here. So yes, that was that as a trick. In my case, on this one, I had to redo the power cable by myself. I needed to extend it a little bit, and I needed to re-solder the wires from the button from here, because they actually broke off. That was another issue, because I got really scared when I pressed the button. It didn't do anything. So yeah, if you have a Louqe case, on the first models, they said, I think the first and second batch, they send them with the same button. So the cables are so thin, oh my god. I actually had to use the extension that I made. I took cables from one of these Louqe small cables that they give you. Okay, so that Louqe cable is really nice. So I stitch everything up, and I also routed it underneath the SSD because I still have the little spacer, so you can route the cable underneath so it's not in the way. Next up, I will actually add the motherboard because I already did my own short cables. So I did a, how do you call it, a solder job on all of these individually, and I made this cable way shorter. So right now I think it's around 16-17 centimeters from 40 or something, so it helps a lot. Okay, AIO there, and then motherboard inside, power switch. Always use a magnet to keep your screws so you don't lose them. Be careful when you're screwing in the motherboard so you don't accidentally put the screwdriver inside the motherboard. You might cause some damage. So take your time, do it slowly. If you do it too fast, you might do like put the screwdriver in something, and then it will actually be quite bad. Okay, something fell, but it's no problem, I fixed it. This is when you're trying to show stuff. So, okay, that's done. A video card, razor cable, razor cable. Okay, the same. The fans from the how do you call it? From Deepcool came with RGB, and they also have these extra cables. So yes, we are going to try to route these very neatly. Okay, so for these two fans on the video card, I'm using I bought one of these cables that connects to the motherboard and gives you a 4-pin, because the 4-pin on the motherboard is actually a mini 4-pin. So you need a mini 4-pin to a normal 4-pin, and then the 4-pin you connect it to one of these splitters, and these splitters I put the two fans in. Okay, so I'm gonna use fan 1 and fan 2. On these boxes I saw that the first fan gives the speed to the rest of the fans, so whatever you set on one fan, it will give it to all. But in our case, the video card, because of this cable, will do its own job, so you don't need to think about it so much. So right now, I think I can do all these cables on the other side, so I can keep the graphics card cables on the other side. I don't need to actually connect it to anything. Next job, putting on some cables so we can do a nice route job, I suppose it's called. Maybe it's not called a route job, but yeah. So I am trying to get to one of these slots and try to think of a way of taking this cable where is it so long? Do we have shorter ones? I think I do. Let's see. Okay. I should have done this before. Oh yes, a tiny bit shorter and a tiny bit slimmer actually, but a hell lot more tough. Okay, this is okay like this, and I can take it, I suppose, underneath the PSU and route it smack inside here like this. Oh yeah, that will do nicely actually. Then we have to put this one here facing up. That's nice. And then we're having this huge cable, which we need to connect. Okay, we need to connect the SATA first. Going in. Make the cables flat. Putting this in. These ones I think I'm gonna route together on the other side also. So I'm gonna put it here. And I'm gonna route them together with the cables on, because this is way too long. And then we have the motherboard, which should be plugged also now. Okay. Just double check you put it in also, because these 24 pin comes with a 6 pin that detaches, and sometimes you don't push it all the way in. And then we have a 8 pin, the same, it's split in 2, so you need to be careful to actually put it in also, both of them correctly, if you can. Is it this side? Okay, that's in. That goes here. So all most of the cables except for the SATA cable have been retouched in some way, so they're not actually the length that you will get in the box, so keep that in mind. Most of the cables are already retouched, so it looks nice and proper. We will need some screws for this one. Let's see. Ooh. This is nice. Okay. Ooh, magnificent. Okay, so this we have SATA here, we have an M.2 here, power, power button, AIO pump, which is quite cool. This one is the fan, but when I will put it in, I will plug it in then, because it's too short right now. Okay, we will need power for the video card, and this one will actually go under the video card also. No, if I could see what I'm doing. Oof. Okay. Oh yeah, managed to squeeze it in. Plug it in. I think I'm gonna leave all the cables on the bottom side. That's my plan. Not necessarily the best plan. Man, I don't know how I assembled it the first time, but this takes a long time to do it. Oh yeah, shit. I also have a cable for the power supply that goes in the back of the case, and I totally forgot to route it somewhere. I do it like this, and then I put it, oh no, it's this side, okay. And we go through here and under. Okay, we go through here and I want to take this down, but I don't want to take that up. Okay, so this one will do like this one, I think. Okay, so this one will be here. Oh, this needs a lot of zip ties. Okay. I will need to connect these ones now, I suppose. And this one is the 8-pin that is going straight forward. Okay, and then we have a 6-pin that needs to go in here also, and then I'm gonna route it in this position here, right under this one. And be really careful when you route cables that you don't have loose cables, so they will sit in a fan or something, because then you will be so pissed off when you're gonna hear the noise. Okay, I'm just a little bit focused. If I don't talk, it's no problem. I'm just trying to make it look nice. Okay. Now the problem is that I had this PC in parts for like 2 months almost. I don't know when I put the last video. Oh, it's anyway, it's more than 2 months or 2 months, and I don't know where I put all the screws. I put them on a magnet, but I'm not sure there. It doesn't seem to be all, because I need to have 4 of these, and then I need to have 1, 2. No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't know how to count. It's okay. Okay. So, if you buy a pump, I suppose, like this one, try to see in advance how do you want to route the pump cables. I don't know if you can do that, but I kind of looked at the pump, so these 2 pipes come from at least one side, and they move because it's very important if they move, because then you can adjust it somehow. So yeah, you have to keep that in mind also. And what the okay, this is a little bit more difficult than I remembered actually. One. Two. No, something's not right. Something's definitely not right. Why is it not right? No. Did I forget to do something? It's definitely too tight. No? Maybe not. We see now. Yeah, I just put it up so I could look a little bit better. Okay, I'm tightening the two screws on the top. Okay. And I need to put one more screw here. Remember being so tight, but it has no other way to go in. I have no idea. No, I think that's okay. I hope so. Okay. Moving forward. Okay. So the screws on the AIO are tight. See, maybe don't do exactly what I do, but I think you're gonna do something close to it. Yes, we need a zip tie here to put everything back on track. Back on track. Oof. Too tight. And if you have big chunky fingers, oh my god, this is gonna be like twice as hard. Okay. Clippers. Okay. Fan cable now. Something strange. Yeah. So I'm gonna put this in the what is this? No, it can't be. No, okay. I put this in the CPU fans. It will be nice to, I think, to have a. I put this one in the CPU fan. I was looking at it now, and I think you need to have one, otherwise you're gonna get a boot error. It's not gonna let you go in to pass boot technically, because it will notice it doesn't have any fan there. So okay, let's put it like this. No, too tight, too tight. Too tight is gonna break. Okay, take it over and under, and then do it like this. Okay, cool. Okay, that is much better. Okay, that's not actually bad. That looks decent. Okay, and I'm gonna turn it around, and then we're gonna have the feet. All these cables are gonna be routed on this side somehow, so I'm not gonna bother with them. I'm just gonna put the feet back on, so it doesn't stay on this AIO anymore than it needs to. It'll be really fast. And now more and more cables. For fuck's sake. Honestly, this is impossible to win. I'm not gonna win this battle today. Take this one here and take this one from here I think I need to see a little what I'm doing here. Okay, so can you take this in consideration too much? Okay, they need to be routed here first. We do the other way around, so you can actually see. Okay, I'm gonna route these and then I'm gonna come back, I suppose. Okay, one more. So, just so you guys understand what's going on, I told you can skip to the video, but I'm tying these, I'm trying to do cable management on these, but as you guys can see, I'm not kind of winning this battle with cable management. Senor Cable is winning. Oh. Okie dokie. I can take a big one. So when you see these guys on YouTube presenting like that badass case, they actually worked for that cable management way more than you think. When you think, you look at those videos and you think that's easy, well, it's not. It's actually fucking hard to get the right cable management situation in par with normal standards. So unfortunately, because I have these thick fans, I'm not gonna have a side there, but fortunately on this other side where I have the Wi-Fi pipe, that ain't the problem. And I found also a solution for this one. Actually, some of the screws here are going perfect with this, so I don't have the kids going around poking it, hopefully. Oh, the screws are too small. Ah, it's okay. Hopefully they won't pull on it too hard. Oh, who am I joking? Probably they will. Okay, that's enough. And we are almost done. First and foremost, before you do anything more, plug it in to see if everything turns on. So that is what we will do right now. Oh my god, it's heavy now. This one. Power supply button is on. Don't forget it's somewhere inside the PC. Let's see. Ethernet. Ouch. Sound. Okay. Video. Display. Wireless mouse. Yeah, maybe we need a keyboard also. And guess what? It doesn't post. That's interesting. Or is it that, did I turn on the display? Is it on? No, this is HDMI. Maybe it doesn't post. And no image. Why no image? And then the troubleshooting starts. It says it has no image whatsoever. Did I plug it in? I think I did. Don't put all the parts in until you tested it. Oh. Troubleshooting 101. So this is the PCI cable. It is plugged in. But what? Why no image? Okay, try it again. So the graphics cards fans are working, so it's getting electricity. This is quite strange. Okay, so we're back. It posts. Seems the problem that I encountered, one of the hoses was pushing the graphics cards outwards, so it didn't do a correct connection to the riser underneath this video card. So now everything works. I just need to wiggle this in a position that it won't push the video card anymore. Which this is quite awkward, I should say. Okay, I'm gonna try something different. I don't remember very well what I did, but I do remember very well that I have one of these extenders, so I think I'm gonna use it because the hoses don't let me go through more. So let's see how this goes. It's really strange because normally it should have worked because I had it before, but it's true, before I didn't have the fans on this one, so maybe something changed because the fans were on the cooler and probably it was taller. I have no idea. I think I did something wrong. I think I need to... This is like a puzzle. You know, when you're not when you're doing like Lego, when you're doing like a real puzzle. It is like that. It feels like that. Okay. No. Wait. Oh, this is shit. Okay. No, it's the other one. I ran into a different problem now. Okay, so if I put this side on, I can't slide the slide on, so I think I'm gonna put just two of these sides, mount the, yeah, but this, see, when you do a when you do an actual bad design on a case, the screw holes don't line up, so I'm very sure I didn't have it here before. Yeah, so the case, I don't know how they thought this when they made the case, because this is quite annoying now, because I don't remember what the hell I've done that I fitted it so well. Let's see, we do like this, and then we can actually slide it a little bit more. Why is it not fitting anymore? What have I done wrong? Okay, I'm coming back on this one. Okay, I'm back. More troubleshooting, more problems, more troubleshooting, and then more problems appear. Yes. No, it's the show must go on, but how the hell am I going to do this? This is so annoying. these are some tight spaces. Very tight spaces. Okay. Ta-da. Magic. Now we need the other side also. There you go. Ta-da. Cool. So managed to get more in, I suppose. Well, that's quite good. I didn't expect to get the sides on. So this worked okay, I suppose, ish. Again, I'm putting all the screws in. I didn't check if it works or not. I suppose. Yes. While I try to put this one in. Okay. The screen turned on. That's a good thing, at least. Why are you not going in? Okay, so the computer works. So we have image. It booted into the Windows, and yeah, that's kind of it. I just need to put like these 4 screws in. I'm gonna put them afterwards. So this is how much time you need to actually finish a build like this. And there are also cutscenes in this, I suppose I'm gonna do. Or I'm just gonna make you listen to all the shit that I have to say. But yes, overall, pretty cool. Job well done. Okay, thank you for watching again. Oh my god. Thank you for watching and see you next time.